Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. I haven't done a reading on Lindsey Graham in a while. Unbeknownst to you, back when I was first playing around with tarot, right after the insurrection, it was in January, I did a reading on Chuck Grassley and Lindsey Graham, and I saw that both would be held accountable for events involving the January 6th insurrection. At that time, I thought they would be held accountable really quickly. Well, fast forward a few years and still nothing has happened. Grassley should get his own soon enough now that the Jack Smith's January 6th insurrection case is moving forward, at least as it focuses on Trump, but they'll get to the co-conspirators and people like that in due time. Lindsey, I wasn't really getting anything on January 6th, but I'm sure he's involved with it. More he's been involved with is the Fulton County election interference case. Now, he was on MSNBC, he was on Fox News the other day. I was watching the MSNBC rebroadcast of a soundbite of that, where he was basically saying that Trump can't get a fair trial in D.C., the judge hates Trump, and the whole case of the January 6th was Trump getting bad legal advice. He was going to throw his lawyers under the bus. Jeez. And they were harpooning Lindsey, saying, come on, you know better than that. So Lindsey's still carrying Trump's water, and we know Lindsey was interfering with the Fonnie Willis case, where these cards are flipping all over. We've got the Hanged Man popping up there. Lindsey, that's the willing human sacrifice card there. Lindsey could either go to prison for that, or he could go ahead and snitch. Which one did Lindsey choose? Let's find out, shall we? Let's find out about what's going on with Lindsey Graham right now. What's going on in his life, and then we'll look about the Georgia case. Entertainment purposes only, but it's been a while since we've done a deep dive into the strange energy that's Lindsey Graham. Temperance. Why, Lindsey, are we getting sober? I think this is with Lindsey. This is probably temperance reversed. Now, I will say, to be fair, on that Fox News case, that Fox News clip, his eyes were very clear. There was no redness in it. He had not been drinking in there, but he has that reputation of drinking a lot and then going on news broadcasts drunk as a skunk and getting all sloppy. So we've got temperance here and the Queen of Wands. Okay. This should be Lindsey trying to get sober. And he's going to get sober one way or another. If he gets thrown in jail, he's not going to have alcohol in there. But if he wants, any chance at making good decision making and such, he has to do it with a clear head. So if he can stay sober, he might be able to make better decisions and choose better action paths. So I think Lindsey's drinking is actually impacting his decisions there. There we go again. In the past, the Hanged Man. Trump will throw Lindsey under any bus that's available. Lindsey got booed at a rally or a function that he had Donald Trump on as a guest. So he knows he's losing support from the MAGA crowd in his 10 miles from where he grew up in his own county. He doesn't have that support there. But he's carried Trump's water for a while. He was actually the one that even said, no, if we have Trump lead the GOP, we deserve everything we get. He had the foresight to see that, but he went along with it anyways. And he went along with it anyways because there was compromise. There's compromise. They were going to release the information that they're holding over Lindsey, and then Lindsey was going to be out of Congress and on the streets type of thing. So, and even now, Lindsey is worried that he's going to lose his Senate position. He's going to lose his wealth. And about the only thing he will have is his freedom. But he doesn't like how his life is going to look like that. Again, if we tie this back to alcoholism or something along those lines, if he doesn't clean his act up and act well, he's going to be out on the streets. I will put that in air quotes. He won't actually be on the streets. Three of coins. So there's all that backroom planning. This could be his normal stuff in Congress, but since we're talking about court cases and how Lindsey's doing, Lindsey might very well be talking with folks behind the scenes. So publicly, he's saying how much he's for Trump, but privately, he's working behind the scenes on this one because he knows he has a lot of legal exposure going on here. And we go from the Queen of Wands to the King of Wands. King of Wands, you get to at least control your own fate in this case. You get to choose the path that you're going to walk down. You may not like the path that you're walking down, but at least you got to choose it. It's going to be this or prison. Take your choice. Make your choices on this one. Outcome is the devil. Does that mean he chooses the devil? Will he actually go that path? Or is he going to unchain himself from the devil? Well, certainly his fate is tied to Trump's. In the Georgia case, his fate is absolutely tied to Trump. He's made bad decisions that were exploited by Trump. Trump got the information that about Lindsey, and that controlled Lindsey's behavior on that one. Underneath is the strength card. Well, I got a few major arcana on there, huh, Lindsey? You got 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana in all this. Not bad. In interesting positions. So Lindsey's going to have to show some strength here. He's going to have to show some strength of character as far as staying sober and making good choices. Because the devil is what's awaiting him on that one. So that's kind of what he's dealing with here. This reading's kind of all over the place. I'm not real happy with it because I keep losing focus. But I think that might also be, here David's making excuses. That might also be Lindsey's energy. He might be all over the place too. But we got the double card, so I'm viewing that as permission to look at Fulton County because that's what this reading is going to be about here. Maybe do another one on January 6th type stuff. But all you ever wanted to know about Lindsey were 3 bucks. Okay, so Lindsey, Fulton County's coming for you. You just know it. What's going to happen with Lindsey in Fulton County? Is he going to be? Did he flip? Did he not flip, and now it's going to face the charges? I can't picture a scenario where Lindsey doesn't flip. I cannot picture a scenario where it does that. But then again, there's got to be compromise on him because he just is acting like somebody who like a picture of the 2 of coins. Some days he's more afraid of that compromise coming out than others, or that he weighs, well, what's worse, this decision or the compromise coming out? Okay, so Fonnie Willis, what's going to happen with Lindsey Graham in the Georgia case? Page of Swords. Oh, spy in the camp. Okay, so we were asking if he flipped. He flipped. That's going to be my short answer on that one. Yep, Lindsey. He made a deal. Lindsey made a deal to lower his legal consequences. Whether he gets out of prison altogether or not, I'm not sure. But Lindsey cut a deal to work with the prosecutors on this. In the past, we had the death card. He had no way out. He's probably caught on tape too, and we just didn't hear about it. But he was dead to right, caught dead to rights doing this. He knew he was wrong doing this, and there was no legal maneuvering for him to get out of this situation. So I suspect he turned state's evidence. What's underneath the card? The Hierophant. Yeah, the government. He was a spy for the government, trying to reduce his sentence. He knew he was hosed on this one. Current situation. He's been 2 of Wands, to me, it's about action. So I think the way he's been speaking to the world is different than what he believes. So look at this as like, picture this card as Lindsey talking to the crowd. There's a crowd here that you can't see in front of him. They're too low to the ground. And he's talking to them, telling about his viewpoints of the world and all this stuff. And you got these 2 pillars on either side. Donald Trump's innocent. He's been treated poorly. But you're seeing this from the background. And you know that he's not telling the truth. Because when he comes back inside, he tells you what's really going on. So he's got a public-facing side and a private side. So this is the public-facing side, is saying how Donald Trump is so poorly mistreated, because that's all that Trump sees. Trump only sees the public side. He only sees what he sees on TV. And Lindsey knows that. So, and a lot of them do. So that's why they're out there trumpeting Trump play. But behind the scenes, they don't necessarily believe that. Or, in this case, acting for Trump. Lindsey's legacy. This is not so much about money. This is about Lindsey's legacy and, his reputation. His reputation's shot. That information that Trump has over him will probably get released too. So, from top to bottom, Lindsey's life has no value. His not his life. I mean, like he's going to kill himself, but I mean, like his legacy has no value. He went through. He was a senator for a number of years, but who cares? What's history going to remember Lindsey Graham for? History's going to remember Lindsey Graham as being the guy who said Trump was going to be nothing but trouble for the GOP and was right, but then backed him the whole way through. He's like the epitome of the GOP, of the two-facedness of the GOP, understanding Trump was toxic, but then being too cowardly to do anything about it. So he was complicit, and he helped that regime all the way through. The lesson to be learned is the 7 of Wands, fighting. Lindsey should have fought harder for his reputation. He should have pushed back harder. He didn't do it. He probably regrets not doing that. He probably regrets not pushing back harder on the phone calls to Georgia. But I think Lindsey's going to have a number of charges coming up against him that he needs to deal with. And probably because he made a deal with Georgia, he'll be able to fight off future things. But he didn't fight hard enough when he needed to fight. So you have to make a compromise. Outcome, 9 of Cups. Lindsey may get a slap on the wrist on this one. He may come out of this okay, or at least pleased with the deal that he got. I think he feels like he's done all right on this one. I do feel like he feels like he's done all right on this one. Don't expect Lindsey to be incarcerated. Again, the Hierophant's underneath there. Lindsey, his phone calls to Fulton County may not have broken laws, or may not have broken many laws, or like the election interference charges against him for that would be pretty weak. It misdemeanors at best, or something. It's almost like he doesn't even get censured for his actions on this one. It's like he gets a slap on the wrist. So I think Lindsey feels like he did well on this one. So that Page of Swords may not necessarily be, like he's not necessarily a star witness in all this. He would have admitted to what he did, and if he was given some instructions, he gave some instructions. In other words, I think he probably told the truth and took the Fifth Amendment on other things. And maybe when he took his Fifth Amendment, they offered him limited immunity just to get that Fifth Amendment testimony. And that got him out of the worst of trouble that he was going to be in. That kind of thing, that kind of Knight of Cups energy, like, ha, I got the good deal. Anything else I can deal with. It's, small potatoes relative to what I could have been in trouble for. That's kind of the vibe I get on this one. Okay. Anything else on this? I think I'm going to leave it here. I could throw on Lindsey in the January 6th trial. I could throw on Lindsey and Compromat and Lindsey and any drinking problems he has and stuff like that. But I think that's better off in another video. This one can at least stay focused on the Georgia case, and that's what's really coming up in the news right now. So with that, I thank you for supporting my channel and doing the likes and all the YouTube-y stuff to keep my videos well integrated into the algorithm and popping up in other people's feeds as a suggested video. And then they can check out these reads and see if they resonate with it. Thank you very much for all your support. I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.